Here are the top stories for today, November 29, 2021. More countries are now included in the red list amid the threat of the newly discovered Omicron COVID-19 variant. The government is taking a proactive measure to mitigate the possible impact of the Omicron variant in the country. On our way to economic and health recovery, more Filipinos lined up at the first day of the nationwide bayanihan bakunahan vaccination drive. And the DSWD opens a filmmaking contest that will focus on the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Travel restrictions have been expanded in 7 more countries to contain the spread of the new Omicron variant of COVID-19. So far, countries on the red list or areas considered as high risk for COVID-19 include South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Eswatini, and Mozambique. Added to the list are Austria, the Czech Republic, Hungary, the Netherlands, Switzerland, Belgium, and Italy.
Ano pong ibig sabihin nito? Hindi pinapayagang makapasok ng Pilipinas ang lahat ng mga pasaherong galing sa red list sa loob ng nakaraang 14 na araw, anuman ang kanilang vaccination status. Tanging mga Pilipinong pabalik ng Pilipinas via government-initiated or non-government-initiated repatriation at bayanihan flights ang pinapayagang makapasok. At isa sa ilalim pa rin sila sa umiiral na protocols sa entry, testing at quarantine para sa red list countries, jurisdictions, or territories.
The government takes a proactive stance against COVID-19 by temporarily suspending the entry of fully vaccinated foreigners from green countries. The shelving of its initial plan came following the discovery of Omicron COVID-19 variant in South Africa.
Inaprubahan din ng IATF kahapon ang pansamantalang suspension ng IATF Resolution number 150-A Series of 2021 providing for the entry of fully vaccinated nationals of non-visa required countries under EO number 408 Series of 1960 as amended from green list countries, jurisdictions, and territories.
More countries have raised their fears over the newly discovered Omicron variant of COVID-19 in South Africa. In the United States, President Joe Biden announced that his country will impose travel restrictions on 8 African countries, including South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, and Malawi as the new coronavirus variant was detected on the continent. Biden urged Americans and people around the world to get vaccinated against the virus. Meanwhile, Australia and Japan were among the latest countries to either halt flights to the region or announce mandatory quarantines and screenings. Australia's 2 major entry ports, the Australian states of New South Wales and Victoria, have introduced 72-hour isolation requirements for all international arrivals. All recent arrivals from 9 southern African countries were also urged to self-isolate for 14 days. And in the United Kingdom, 2 cases of the Omicron coronavirus variant have been detected in Britain. The cases detected in Chelmsford and in Nottingham are said to be linked. The 2 individuals are now self-isolating along with their households while further tests and contact tracing take place. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said rules on face coverings will be tightened up in shops and public transport and will be reviewed in 3 weeks. The World Health Organization labeled Omicron as a variant of concern. The government is taking proactive measures to prevent the surge of COVID-19 cases with the discovery of Omicron variant. Acting Presidential Spokesperson Carlo Nograles announced the recommendations of the IATF to further strengthen the COVID-19 response at the local level.
Dahil itong Omicron variant ay na-designate bilang variant of concern, pinalakas at pinaiigting na natin ang local response laban sa COVID-19. These include strongly enjoining local government units to heighten their alert for increasing and clustering of cases and emphasizing the need for active case finding. To immediately conduct contact tracing and isolation of cases detected from case surveillance among the community, including domestic and international travelers, and to use RT-PCR testing in order to allow for whole genome sequencing of collected samples.
More and more people are getting vaccinated against COVID-19 as they lined up to participate in the country's first day of the nationwide Bayanihan Bakunahan campaign. Up north, more residents of La Trinidad Benguet were present this morning to avail of the life-saving jabs. Those who have yet to get vaccinated, including senior citizens and 12 to 17 years old, are encouraged to go to the nearest vaccination sites. In Dinagat Island, residents from Barangay Llamera were picked up using the Dinagat Link bus en route to the town's vaccination site in Barangay Garcia. In Iloilo City, the local government offers free rides to vaccinees during the 3-day National Vaccination Day. Eligible vaccinees are advised to wait at the main roads and district plazas to avail of the free ride going to the vaccination sites. In Surigao del Sur, residents start to flock at the gymnasium in Barangay San Fernando, Bislig City to get vaccinated. Meanwhile, in Aklan, nursing students and their instructors, volunteers and staff of the Department of Health in the province are deployed to assist in the conduct of the 3-day Bayanihan Bakunahan. Aklan targets to vaccinate 79,591 eligible vaccinees during the 3-day mass vaccination event. In Antipolo City, more people lined up at various designated areas to get vaccinated. And in Mati City, Davao, Mayor Michelle Nakpil Rabat calms down a constituent as she was about to be inoculated against COVID-19. Mayor Michelle visited several bakuna sites in the city as her administration aims to achieve herd immunity before the end of 2021. Over 81 million Filipinos have so far received the COVID-19 shot. Based on the latest data from the National COVID-19 Vaccination Dashboard, 35,678,774 Filipinos are now fully inoculated against the dreaded disease. Some 45,430,089 Filipinos have received their first COVID-19 shot, and 188,084 received booster shots. All in all, the Philippines has administered a total of 81,296,947 doses of coronavirus vaccines as of today. The government is targeting to fully inoculate at least 54 million Filipinos and to complete the provision of booster shots for healthcare workers by end of December this year. The Philippines received over 500,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from Poland. The donation came just in time for the kick-off of the 3-day Bayanihan Bakunahan vaccination drive. Vaccine Czar Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. said the donated 547,100 doses of AstraZeneca jabs will go a long way in helping the country contain COVID-19. Still to come, a survey reveals a decrease in the number of Filipinos who rated themselves as poor. Meanwhile, the government temporarily suspends the deployment of household service workers in Saudi Arabia. Details ahead. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
You are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective.
I would like to appeal to all our kababayans, please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic, because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work. The first day of the three-day nationwide vaccination campaign is a success as more local government units have prepared for the country's biggest inoculation day. The details from Chris Mundo.
In Ilocos region, more volunteers help in today's mass vaccination. The local government has also identified 408 sites in the entire region for the biggest inoculation rollout, while law enforcers are tapped to deliver COVID-19 vaccines in hard-to-reach areas such as Sugpon and Salcedo. Health authorities aim to vaccinate more than 700,000 individuals during the three-day national vaccination days. In Bicol region, the health department mobilizes volunteers for the three-day nationwide vaccination event. Those with medical backgrounds are assigned either as vaccinators or post-vaccination monitors, while non-medical volunteers are assigned in registration and encoding. Bicol region is targeting to inoculate some 1,152,960 Bicolanos during the three-day government vaccination campaign from November 9 to December 1. In Iligan City, 60,000 residents are expected to be inoculated during the three-day national vaccination campaign. 15 vaccination sites have been opened in the region to achieve at least 20,000 vaccinees per day. In Sorsogon, Governor Francis Escudero directed all mayors to fully support the vaccination rollout and encourage all government offices, agencies, and local government units to assign and allow all their healthcare workers to participate in the three-day event. As of November 23, Sorsogon has vaccinated 60% of its target population, or 356,433 individuals. Escudero assured that the local government is working to achieve 65% full vaccination of their population by mid-December. And in Zamboanga, Mayor Maria Isabel Climaco Salazar mobilizes all government resources to include the barangays to ensure the success of the immunization campaign. 50 vaccination centers with manpower components coming from their office, private institutions, and volunteers have been identified for the event. This include 24 health districts, 17 schools and malls, and 9 government and private hospitals. The City Health Office also has 3 walk-in vaccination centers for the adult population and 8 for the second dose and pre-registered vaccinees as priorities. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
The Department of Health vows to continue recognizing the contributions of healthcare workers by providing them with the benefits and compensation that they deserve. The DOH reported that it has disbursed 15.7 billion pesos worth of benefits for healthcare workers as of November 26. This includes 7.9 billion pesos worth of special risk allowance from December 2020 to June 2021. 6.5 billion pesos in active hazard duty pay and meals, accommodations, and transportation or MAT benefits worth 1.2 billion pesos that were given in kind and as actual services. Meanwhile, the DOH is continuously working to secure funding and authority to retroactively provide MAT benefits to workers who did not receive them. It noted that the new HCW benefits have certain limitations as to their scope and coverage period. Given these, the DOH supports legislative initiatives for the continued provision of benefits for healthcare workers. Slightly fewer Filipinos rated themselves as poor in September or the third quarter of 2021, according to a survey conducted by the social weather stations. The latest findings of the pollster showed that 45% of Filipino families rating themselves as poor, 34% as borderline poor, and 21% as not poor. A similar survey in June 2021 showed that 48% felt poor, 29% felt borderline poor, and 23% felt not poor. 11.4 million families thought of themselves as poor in September 2021 compared to 12 million in June. In a press statement, Cabinet Secretary and Acting Presidential Spokesperson Carlo Nograles welcomed the SWS survey result as proof that efforts of the government to reopen the economy are bearing fruit. He noted that the government believes that the increase in vaccinated people and the drop in new COVID-19 infections allowed it to safely expand economic activities that will add jobs and reduce poverty. The Philippines has temporarily stopped sending household service workers to Saudi Arabia following reports of abuses committed by a retired general against Filipinos. The Philippine Overseas Employment Administration and the Philippine Overseas Labor Offices in Saudi Arabia were ordered to temporarily stop processing documents of newly hired HSWs. The memorandum does not cover workers with renewed contracts and the hiring of skilled workers. The Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, reacted to reports that a certain General Ayed Fawa al-Jialid has been physically and verbally abusing Filipino house workers. The general was able to continue hiring Filipinos after circumventing the verification rules of POEA and POLO by using a pseudo-employer for the employment contract. To avoid this situation, there will be new verification guidelines that will require the exact address of the employer's house in Saudi Arabia to be stated in the contract. In our business news, the Philippines is looking forward to secure its national interest amid shared global challenges, including the pandemic. This despite the indefinite postponement of the 12th Ministerial Conference of the World Trade Organization. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez said that among the issues that the Philippines will be pushing are decisions on initiatives that would make vaccines and therapeutics more inclusive. Lopez noted that access to safe, effective, affordable, and high-quality diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines has been a consistent policy advocated by President Rodrigo Duterte, Foreign Secretary Teddy Locsin, and the DTI. The Philippines also seeks the conclusion of the fisheries subsidies negotiation to ensure that no geographic area is carved out over territorial issues. The conference scheduled for November 30 to December 3 was postponed due to the emergence of the new COVID-19 Omicron variant and the latest Swiss government's travel restrictions. The ministerial conference is expected to tackle several issues necessary to enhance international trade rules and address the challenges brought about by the pandemic. Up next, inmates in Davao City signed up for the Philippine Identification System. And the DSWD opens a filmmaking contest that will focus on the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom. Operatives of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, or PDEA, dismantled a drug den and arrested 6 suspects during a raid in Sitio Barigon, Barangay Tumbungan, Zamboanga City last Friday. PDEA Regional Director Emerson Margate said among those arrested were Samuel Zambales, who was maintaining the drug den, and his live-in partner Mary Chris Enciso. The raiding team confiscated some 15 grams of suspected shabu worth 102,000 pesos and several illegal drug paraphernalia. The suspects will be charged with violation of the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. At least 49 new People's Army rebels surrendered to police during the simultaneous anti-criminality law enforcement operation in Sacleo in Caraga region on Saturday. This is on top of the 376 law violators that were arrested during the one-day operation. A total of 217 assorted firearms as well as 10 explosives were confiscated during the Sacleo. Authorities also seized about 227 grams of shabu and 33 grams of marijuana worth over 1.5 million pesos. PRO 13 Director Brigadier General Romeo Karamat said the success of the recent Sacleo is due to the strong commitment and determination of Caraga Police. He also assured residents that anti-crime operations and the accounting of loose firearms in the region will continue, especially with the coming elections. Over 300 persons deprived of liberty, along with some Bureau of Jail Management and Penology personnel, got the chance to register for the PhilSys National ID. They are now part of the more than 40 million Filipinos who have completed the demographic and biometrics registration for the PhilID card. The registration forms part of a mobile registration strategy to cover more institutions towards the goal of registering at least 50 million this year. The Philippine Statistics Administration said they have been conducting institutional registration in various agencies to help increase the rate of processed PhilSys registration. In Davao City, PSA Region 11 conducted registration in the offices of the National Bureau of Investigation, Civil Service Commission, and real estate firm Damosa Land in October. The Department of Social Welfare and Development in Caraga has opened a short documentary filmmaking contest to honor the successes of those who benefited from the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. The contest, with the theme Mukha ng mga benepisyaryo ng 4P sa hamon ng pandemya, is meant to produce inspirational stories essential to support the major strategies of the 4Ps program. The formal registration and contest will start on December 3. No registration fee will be asked from the contestants. The deadline of submission of entries will be on December 20. Cash awards await the top 3 winners.
We would like to congratulate our very own William Theo for receiving the Hall of Fame Award for News and Public Service Broadcasting from the World Class Philippines Council. The award-giving body honors notable Filipinos who have promoted the Philippines through their success and achievements in their businesses, fields, and expertise. Congratulations, Will, from your PNA Newsroom family.
Thank you very much to my PNA Newsroom family and the rest of the NIB and PCOO for this small presentation. I was indeed surprised, and thank you also to the World Class Philippine Council for the recognition. I did have a little nervousness delivering the keynote speech, but I hope that this will continue to inspire me to be able to do better in everything I do. So thank you very much. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. More countries are now included in the red list amid the threat of the newly discovered Omicron COVID-19 variant. The government is taking a proactive measure to mitigate the possible impact of the Omicron variant in the country. On our way to economic and health recovery, more Filipinos lined up at the first day of the nationwide bayanihan bakunahan vaccination drive. And the DSWD opens a filmmaking contest that will focus on the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And it is 26 more days to go before Christmas. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day to all.